as council member. So per the charter, they had said that I needed to vacate my seat or I could utilize the holdover. But I think what we're looking at, we're getting rid of the holdover overall, and getting the holdovers as discretion as the council sees fit. The other thing is the office, the elected office that someone's running for, would that be a county office only, or school office, or one or the other?
Did you want me to answer that?
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you. And that's a very good question. It's another question that the commission dealt with. They talked about any other office, because we talked specifically about statewide, countywide, and any other office available in the county. And they pretty much wanted it to apply to council on. So, meaning any other elected office. State, federal, and any other office, elected office in the county, including that of council.
And
Okay.
I think you can interpret that a lot of this way, but that was the meaning of another elected office.
Yeah.
That,
Yes.
was that their extent? Okay,
One more
council.
question.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so the offices that, would it just have to be state, county, or school? Would it matter? There's other positions that people hold in town under certain boards that are in our community that wouldn't matter, correct?
From what?
Are they exemptions for judges?
They're not, are they appointed or elected?
They're appointed.
Appointed.
Yeah.
Okay,
Applied to elected office.
Okay, council, those are good questions, but what we're gonna do is read it to amend the city charter of the city of Pearsall, Texas to require the mayor or city council member who files for another elected office shall forfeit their office with any required action by council. That's what's on the table. At this time, I'm gonna ask for a vote. All in favor, please raise your hand, say aye.
aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Thank you very much. Moving on to Proposition 4, amend the city charter of the city of Pearsall, Texas to change the mayor and city council terms from 2 to 3 years for a total of 6 consecutive years of service, and provide a 1-year sitting out period before being eligible for re-election, effective for those elected at the May 7, 2022 general municipal election thereafter. Council, do you have any questions? We had discussed this at a prior meeting. Purpose behind this. Is there any questions? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Thank you very much. Again, charter review, council, committee, thank you very much for assisting us with that. So that takes care of item G and H, and now this, I just pulled it back. But that's pertaining, I'm gonna go ahead and do I right now, and then we'll go back to under A. Discuss and consider orders number 2022-0203, ordering a special election on proposed amendments to the home rule city charter for the city of Pearsall to be held on May 7, 2022, providing for the publication and posting of notice. Proposed amendments to the home rule city charter of the city of Pearsall, authorizing the city clerk to conduct the election and provide for an effective date. It's an action item. I'm going to call for a motion.
Motion?
A motion by Councilwoman Rodriguez. Do I have a second? Second by Councilman Hernandez. We pretty much discussed all this. This authorizes the city clerk to move forward with what we just talked about. So I'll ask for any questions.
If there's no other questions, Mayor, I'd like to go ahead and make a motion to approve the ordinance number 2022-02-03.
Okay, we've got our motion. We do have our second. And so I'm going to call for a vote. All in favor? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you very much. All right, now we're going to move on to item 8A. Discuss, consider authorizing the city manager to engage the firm of Carter Leal to conduct an audit for the fiscal year ending September 30th, 2021. This is an action item. I'm going to call for a motion.
Motion?
Motion by Councilwoman Rodriguez. May I have a second? Second by Councilwoman Hernandez. At this time, I'll ask for questions. City Manager?
Just, if you have any questions, or just, the summary is on page 11 of your packet. It's this year again, the Allen Carter will be doing our audit, and the next item will be
Yeah,
going out for an RFQ.
Yeah. we're gonna pretty much, so if there's no other questions, I'll call for a vote. All in
Mayor?
favor of item, do
I'll
we do
go
have a
ahead and
motion?
motion to go ahead
Okay,
and
we do.
approve.
Councilwoman, we do have a motion and a second, so all we need is a final vote. All in favor, please say aye. Motion passes unanimously. All right, now this dovetails into item A. Discuss and consider authorizing the city manager to issue a request for qualification for audit service for the city of Pearsall. This is an action item. I'll ask for a motion.
Motion.
Motion by Councilwoman Hernandez, may I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Trevino, city manager.
Yes, Mayor and Council, on this item, what we're asking for is for the 22 audit year and beyond, at least for the next 3 years after that. We're asking, we want to go out for an RFQ. Last time that we hired the Allen Carter back in 2017, I believe they've been with the city for about 5 years. So we'd like to go out and see, what else other firms may be interested in, and put this out, make it a little more competitive, and hopefully have, whether it's these guys or somebody else for the 2020 audit. So we're asking for approval to move forward with the RFQ. We will have the RFQ. Sorry, it wasn't the packet. It'll be available for you guys to view if you need to. This week we need to touch a couple things up.
In council, as you know, transparency is important, and this is a part of that. They've done it for 5 years, they do a good job. There's value of having a CPA firm do your books annually because they are familiar with it. But then there's also value of, opening it up and letting some other firms come in. Carter Leal is certainly welcome to bid, but it also kind of keeps them honest on the fees, knowing that they're going to be competing. So certainly, again, they're doing ours this year, and they've certainly done us a good job. But this is just a move to keep them, keep their fees in line with what the market is, but knowing they're going to be competing and give other firms a chance to look at it. So I will, if there's any questions, council, you're welcome to ask any. Hearing none, made a motion to second, I'll call for a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, council. Moving on to item C, discuss and consider authorizing the city manager entering a contract with Precision Pump Systems for the design and construction of a clarifier pump package for the wastewater treatment plant. This item dovetails also with item D, which will run in a moment, but at this point, I'll ask for a motion to discuss item 6.8C.
Motion.
Motion by Councilwoman Rodriguez, may I have a second? Second by Councilwoman Hernandez. I'm gonna turn the floor over to our city manager. Actually, I'm gonna turn the floor over to Hector.
I want to say a couple of things, but the detailed questions we'll save for Hector. But just in your packet on page 27, just a summary. What we're asking for there, the fiscal impact is for this particular this pump, this RAS pump is, we're asking for $95,000. You'll see in this packet, it's a pretty significant packet. Part of the packet, you'll see on page 28 is, if your packet, you'll see what TCEQ, what they call their exit interview form. And this is one of the things that they marked on our inspection. I think it was done on March the 5th. And you can see there, we try to put it in yellow, what they're telling us we need to do, what we need to do. And then the other part that's important is, it's all important, but page 30, you'll see the actual quote from Precision Pump Systems, the net price, and the 5-year warranty for the pumps, motors, controls, and pipings and valves. This is for clarifier number 2 out at the wastewater treatment plant. It's a small clarifier. For that, I'll be quiet and turn it over to Hector for any questions on it.
Council, I'm gonna let Hector kind of go over this, and then after he's finished, you guys are free to ask questions. Yes, sir, Hector.
Good evening, everybody. We'll be discussing the small clarifier here. Before we go move it forward, before we move forward, for those of y'all that don't know what a clarifier is, it's the separation of the sludge and the treated water. The sludge goes down into the clarifier, and the treated water goes out for the UV disinfection part before it goes out to the stream. So it's basically what the function of the clarifier is. It's a major function. It's the primary function. It's an important function, but that's the major function, is to separate the water from the treated clear water that we send from the oxidation ditch. So it sounds simple enough, but it's very important. Without it, we can't move forward. And TCQ restricts us to maintain an efficiency rating of, I believe it's 93.3%. And we currently, for the last 12 years, we've held a rating of 98.7. So we're doing our job with one clarifier, but TCQ came a knocking, and then now they're asking us to activate the second clarifier. And this is why we're here today. So
They're not asking, but I just.
they're asking. They're telling us.
And to say it right, this is a little bit of redundancy, right? We've got, this is a backup to what's actually working. Do I understand that correctly?
Right. It's at one point in the beginning it was considered the overflow, but since it's been down since 2008, it's crucial. It's got to be a part of the system itself. Normally the big clarifier handles 70%, and then the 30% overflow goes to the small clarifier, but now the big one is handling 100% and it's overflowing. I mean, it's not overflowing, but we're maintaining it, but we could use the help from the small clarifier. But nonetheless, the permit restricts us to have both of them on at the same time. So I mean, it's mainly used as an overflow, but now we're going to be operating simultaneously with the big clarifier.
Council, any questions? Councilman Hernandez.
Mr. Yandere, with the 2016 bond, I know that some work was done out there at the plant. What components were installed or updated, or?
It was completely rehabbed from the internally. Now the wall, the cement wall, was the only thing that it touched. Now they cleaned it up and then patched here and there, but as far as the external, everything's the same. Nothing. The internal part was the skimmer that actually rotates inside that was the only thing that was retrofitted. And of course the new motor. And then they did some other things that we can speak of later. And as far as component wise, it just didn't work. So anyways, but that's all they did on the actual accessories. But the internal guts of the clarifier, which was primary use for the 2016 bond thing, it was that was completed, that was fulfilled, that was completely done. And then some of the outside stuff, well, there was a little how would I say this?
It just didn't work out.
It didn't work out. Basically, we need some, and with this new project here would totally solve all that, totally bypass all that stuff they did.
So would you say that we're in pretty good shape for a few years?
After this project?
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. I would say a good 20. I mean, the large clarifier has lasted. I mean, there's components on there over 30 years old, and we finally got to replace them about 28, 31 years later. Well, some of them, not all of them, but mostly everything has been replaced. But a lot of it was 30 years old on the large clarifier. Now, the new clarifier, everything's brand new since 2016. Just hasn't gotten utilized.
Councilman Hernandez.
I remember about a year ago, I was at a softball game, I was on Zoom watching the city council meeting, and I remember hearing about the wastewater treatment center and skimmer and all that, and then Councilman Leal, he was on Zoom meeting as well, and didn't the council approve like about $100,000 something about a year ago to help on the wastewater? They didn't do nothing like that? I thought
No.
no? I remember hearing that.
I was a part of it. Not that I remember.
Yeah,
Okay, so,
I
I mean,
That may have
last
been
money
when
we
we cleaned
used, what was that?
What
When
was
we
that?
cleaned out the water tanks.
No, I think that might have been for the UV.
Oh, okay, yes, in
Yeah.
2019, we completely replaced our old obsolete UV system with a brand new
There at the
state-of-the-art
facility.
at the wastewater plant.
That's
For
what
2
it was.
years. Bigger.
Yes,
Time flies.
no, we didn't do the water street, yeah.
We're getting younger.
So that's what that was, that problem.
And we're getting back.
And this does dovetail again, the next item also just is part of this, but we're gonna go independently, and the next we'll be talking about our engineering firm that's gonna kind of ride herd on ensuring that this is correct. But if there's no other questions, I'm gonna call for a motion for this item, which again has a $95,000 price tag, right?
Yes, we are asking for contingency.
And that will come from the ARP funds, and so Yes, sir, Councilman Hernandez.
That's what I was gonna ask, where's it coming from?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. ARP, it's, you know, page 27, the fiscal impact, we are, proposing it to come from ARP funds. Yes, sir.
And we'll dovetail again where the engineering fee will come from also. So with that in mind, and again, it's a two-part equation, I'll call for a motion for item, 8C. Oh, wait, we've already got a motion, so I'll call, vote in favor. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. All right, now this is dovetail to that, discuss and consider authorizing the approval and execution of task order 2202 with CDM Smith Engineering for wastewater treatment plant technical support and project management, specifically for the design and construction of a clarifier pump. May I have a motion to discuss this item? There's a motion by Councilwoman Trevino. May I have a second? Second by Councilman Gondeta. Calling for questions. City Manager or Hector? Again, this is to, this you can see on page, it's CDM Smith on page 108. This is the engineering fee for CDM Smith to ensure that the pump is built to spec and installed correctly. We're allocating an amount not to exceed $15,000. Kind of, if I'm saying this right, it's our warranty, other than, it's additional warranty because the Precision Pump is warranting it for 5 years.
Right.
But this is to ensure that we get what we need at that location to handle.
That's correct. There's a two-part system here in order to get this permitted to PCQ. It has to be a construction side and an engineering support side. And this would be our engineering support. And basically what they do, they'll review whatever the construction side is submitting, make sure that everything is to spec and everything meets or exceeds the requirements for that station, or for that process.
And again, this would come from ARP funds. So, any other questions?
I just have a quick question.
Yes, sir,
I know that
Councilman.
we utilize, not just CD Smith, but the other engineering firm,
We're using, both, actually, CDM Smith had gone out there some months back, and just did an analysis, they didn't charge us. They went out, and so we, right now, where I have, if y'all recall, the council recalls, the other firm is working on the master drainage study, and we should have a draft to y'all hopefully this month as well. But we are trying to use both firms for these things, yes.
Good question. Any other questions, council? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote for item 8D. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. All right, item E, discuss and consider authorizing the utilization of hotel occupancy tax in the amount not to exceed $5,000 for the 23rd annual Frio Pioneer Day. And we have in our audience the esteemed Dr. Gorham here on behalf of the Pioneer Days. Again, I'll note it's the 23rd annual. They've been doing it for a long time.
Should have been 25.
25, okay, I stand corrected. But as you know, we've utilized hotel motel tax in the past to support some of these community endeavors. I'm gonna turn the floor over to Fred for a moment. He's got a comment to make.
Yes, Mayor.
Before we do, excuse me, I'm gonna ask for a motion. Go ahead and approve this item. There's a motion by Councilman Gondeta. There's a second by Councilman Hernandez. At this point, I'm gonna turn the floor over to Mr. Reyes.
I'm gonna make a quick, just one quick change to the letter. If you look at your package on packet on 116, the event for Pioneer Day is March 26, 2022, and I think Dr. Gorham corrected that. We want to make sure with him, but I'll turn it over to him. I think in the past, from what I understand, hotel tax has been used. We don't have, I know that historically maybe there's been an application form that normally gets submitted, but again, in that respect, I'll just turn it over to the doctor. Any questions y'all may have for him regarding the event?
Dr. Gorham, the floor is yours.
Good evening. Can I answer any questions for you? You all know what Pioneer Day is, and we haven't had it for 2 years, so we're anxious to get started again. And we're just requesting some of the hotel occupancy tax money for the band, the living historians coming out of San Antonio, and all the expenses that go along with putting it on. It runs about $5,000 each year, so that's what we're asking for.
So there is a request for $5,000 from the hotel motel tax fund. Council, we've got a motion and a second. Any other discussions?
I just have a quick question for
Councilwoman
Federico. You said that we just need to get the application filled out
application, and then again, the amount is not to exceed $5,000. The overall expenses are, if I'm understanding this right, is about $5,000. Historically, I don't know what the council has given in the past, if it's paid for
That's
the
about
entire
right.
thing, or if it's something where y'all just pay for a portion of it, I don't know the details.
I know that we approved before up to 5,000, and then they come back with their report once the festival is over. But if there's no other questions, Mayor, I would like to go ahead and make a motion to go ahead and pass, the